A stunning decision, a silent tension, and a ripple effect that could reshape everything. Just when the dust seemed to settle, a closed door change sent shockwaves through the locker room, one no one expected, not even those at the center of the decision. A promise was made, a direction was taken, but what followed left fans divided, insiders whispering, and the entire league watching closely. As training camp approaches, the questions only grow, and I'm here to keep you well informed, so come with me, hit the like button, and comment below, rise up. Now, Kirk Cousins was promised one thing, and then he saw something entirely different unfold just weeks later. He wasn't just blindsided, he was shocked. And now, with the release of Netflix's second season of Quarterback, we're finally seeing the unfiltered truth. Cousins, always poised in public, dropped the mask just long enough to reveal how betrayed he felt. But before we dive into his raw reaction, let's rewind to where it all started, a $180 million commitment from the Atlanta Falcons. One that should have solidified him as the face of the franchise. So why, just 2 months later, did the same team use the number 8 pick on quarterback Michael Penix Jr.? That's the question burning through the minds of Falcons fans across the country. Now imagine your Cousins, 36 years old, fresh off an Achilles tear, looking for security after years of year-to-year deals with the Vikings. You finally find a team willing to give you 4 years and $100 million guaranteed. The Falcons roll out the red carpet. You sign the deal. You pack the family. And boom, 2 months later, the draft hits. You're watching, probably from your new home in Atlanta, and there it is. With the number 8 overall pick, the Falcons don't take an edge rusher. They don't grab a wide receiver or offensive lineman to support your comeback. No, they select a quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., out of Washington. And they don't even call you first. That moment? That was when the cracks started to show. Cousins admits it himself on Quarterback. I wasn't expecting us to take a quarterback. At the time, it felt like I'd been a little bit misled, or certainly if I had the information around free agency, it certainly would have affected my decision. That's not just a passing comment. That's a loaded statement. That's a man saying he may never have left Minnesota had the Falcons been up front. Let's pause on that. Cousins says he had no reason to leave the Vikings. He loved it there. But Minnesota was only offering short-term deals. They were ready to take it year to year, especially after his season-ending injury. The Falcons, meanwhile, offered long-term security. They gave him what he wanted. Or so it seemed. Because right after securing Cousins, they turned around and used a top 10 pick on his replacement. Now here's where the narrative takes a twist. Despite the drama, Cousins remained a pro. Publicly, he said all the right things. But Netflix gave us something else, something raw. He says, if both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high, I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there. That's a man who didn't just want a new contract, he wanted honesty. He wanted a future. And he thought he found it in Atlanta. But the drama doesn't end with Cousins. The Falcons have more brewing, especially on the defensive side of the ball heading into training camp. Starting July 23rd, all eyes will be on Flowery Branch. Not just because of Cousins and Penix, but because of the fierce battles heating up across the defense. Let's start with safety. Jessie Bates 3 is locked in. No question there. He's been worth every penny of his $64 million deal. ESPN just ranked him the 4th best safety in the NFL, back-to-back years in the top 4. He's the only NFL player last season with 4 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles. But the real drama? Who lines up next to him? That battle is between Jordan Fuller and rookie Xavier Watts. Fuller, who signed a 1-year deal worth $1.2 million, brings familiarity with Raheem Morris from their time with the Rams. He started 57 games since 2020. Reliable. Steady. But Watts? He's the wild card. 6 interceptions at Notre Dame last year and didn't give up a single touchdown. If he can clean up his tackling, he's got a real shot to overtake Fuller, maybe not by week 1, but definitely as the season progresses. Then we move to linebacker. Divine Deablo versus Troy Anderson. 2 very different stories. Deablo, a free agent pickup, wasn't expected to do much. But he's turned heads in camp. So much so that Morris says he could be wearing the green, the communicator on defense. That's a huge deal. But don't count out Anderson. He's flashed before, including a monster Week 4 game with 16 tackles and a pick 6. But injuries have limited him to just 26 games over 3 years. If he can stay healthy, this battle could go down to the wire. And finally, the defensive line. This one's a war. Aside from David Onyemata, the starters are wide open. Rook Orhorhoro, the 35th overall pick from Clemson, is battling veteran Morgan Fox for a starting role. Fox has been a dependable backup for years. 120 games, 34 starts. But Orhorhoro? The Falcons traded up to get him. He missed the start of 2024, then got hurt in Week 8. But he showed flashes. If he can stay healthy, he might just be the long-term answer to replace Grady Jarrett. So now, Falcons fans, we're staring down one of the most dramatic and high-stakes training camps in recent memory. From quarterback controversy to position battles across the defense, there's no shortage of storylines. What do you think about the Cousins-Penix situation? Was it a smart long-term move, or did the front office fumble their messaging? And who do you want to see win those key defensive battles? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And just when you thought the quarterback drama had reached its peak, there's more, because the ripple effects of the Michael Penix Jr. pick extend far beyond just Kirk Cousins' emotions. This move by the front office isn't just about having a backup plan. It's about setting the tone for the future of the franchise, whether Cousins likes it or not. Penix isn't just any rookie. He's a dynamic passer with elite-level production at Washington, someone who many analysts believe has the tools to be a star. The decision to draft him at number 8 overall, when Cousins hadn't even taken a snap for Atlanta, sends a message that the Falcons are not just planning for the present. They're hedging heavily on what's coming next. For a veteran like Cousins, that can feel like a betrayal. He said it clearly, if he knew this was the plan, he might have stayed in Minnesota. But from the Falcons' perspective, they might argue they're doing what's best for the long haul. They've been stuck in quarterback purgatory since Matt Ryan's departure. Drafting Penix was, in their eyes, seizing a rare opportunity to secure a potential franchise quarterback, one who can learn from Cousins, or perhaps, compete with him sooner than expected. That internal tension is now embedded in every practice, every rep, every game Cousins starts. Fans will be watching not just to see if the Falcons win, but to see how long Cousins holds onto the job. And let's be honest, if the team struggles early in the season, the calls for Penix to take over won't just come from the media, they'll come from inside the building. Meanwhile, let's not forget the stakes for head coach Raheem Morris. This is his chance to prove he can guide this team through transition and into contention. That starts with navigating these positional battles without creating fractures. Morris has a reputation for being a player's coach, someone who knows how to balance egos and elevate young talent. He'll need every ounce of that skill as training camp ramps up. Because make no mistake, every single one of these battles matters. Fuller versus Watts. Deiblo versus Anderson. Orhorhoro versus Fox. These aren't just competitions for starting roles. These are auditions for the future core of the Atlanta Falcons. And when you add the quarterback situation on top of it all, you have a training camp with stakes that go way beyond July or August. What happens in Flowery Branch could define this franchise for the next 5 years. So now it's your turn. Falcons fans, you've heard the facts, the quotes, the stakes. What's your take on all of this? Did the front office handle things right with Cousins and Penix? Which players do you believe will rise to the occasion on defense? Who's going to start week 1, and who will be a surprise cut? Let's get the debate going. Drop your comments below. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Go Falcons!